Thank you, Melton. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much for having me tonight. Before we kick off, I would like to know who is here. So who of you has already a so-called DTM award? Please raise your hand. Who has never heard of a term like DTM before? And who is maybe currently aiming to reach the DTM award? Very nice. Okay. What we will do tonight is I will show you some highlights from my Toastmasters membership journey so far. We will look into how to reach a DTM. We will also look together into the art of aiming high and aiming higher. And there will be some tips on how to aim higher. For this, I'm happy to share my slides with you. I have prepared. Here we go. We start with my home club. I have the big luck that 15 years ago, a brave gentleman brought Toastmasters to our workplace. And I have always been a member of it. This is some of my peers. We meet every second for 60 minutes. And on this picture already, you see two of my role models and mentors. Here in the front is famous District 109, famous Christian Eggenberger, who has always been there for the 15 years. And behind him is Marion Eringhaus. He was one of the role models that was always a few steps ahead of me. So Marion and Remo, another role model, they were always doing advanced prepared speeches. So I could observe them and I could also find the confidence of following their lead in doing these advanced projects on pathways levels 4 and 5, these longer, more challenging projects. And at the same time, I had mentors like Christian. Christian was my predecessor as an area director, and I learned so many things from him. So it was good to have these role models and mentors. And another thing that I was always passionate about and still am passionate about is visiting other. One more thing. As I said, my home club is in a big corporation, a bank here in Switzerland, and it's the best thing that happened to me that Toastmasters is in my workplace. As Melton said already, if you want to learn more about Toastmasters in corporations, how to potentially start a Toastmasters corporate program in your corporation, let me know. As I said, we have 15 years of experience and we are very happy to share that experience with you. I will show my contact details a bit later. Coming back to visiting other clubs. This is me in 2017 when I visited like every day the world champion Toastmasters clubs in Singapore. So much energy, so much quality. I took and saw a lot of things and took them back to Switzerland to help increase the education quality. So if you have the chance, I strongly encourage you to visit, to make visiting other Toastmasters clubs a habit. There's always a warm welcome, fun, and you can observe good things that you can take back for your own experience, for your own learning, but also maybe traditions that you can implement in your home club. And the picture here is something to show you that Toastmasters International is a truly international organization. This is us meeting in Genoa, Italy, for a Toastmasters conference. I, in particular, enjoy the workshops, all this wisdom that comes together, but also at the same time, feeling that it's a truly international organization. And I can benefit every day from our truly global network of learners, of experienced people. It's the right thing to do. Over to the DTM. This is me when I reached that milestone, and my team of area directors are surrounding me. Back then, I was the division director here in Zurich, where we are blessed with 20 Toastmasters clubs. Imagine 20 Toastmasters clubs within walking distance. So we are we are happy that we are a Toastmasters cluster and we learn from each other. A lot of Toastmasters energy, and I was lucky to be in the middle of it and had the privilege of leading that group community of Toastmasters Club in the role of division director. Coming to the DTM, and there will be space for you to ask questions about. I would just like to promote a little bit the idea of aiming high, aiming for the highest education award that Toastmasters International has to offer for you. And I would just like, with the help of this graphic here, some highlights that are there. And one of the first things when it comes to education is already the DTM project. Who of you has heard of the DTM project, or formerly known the High Performance Leadership Project? So I'm very happy to explain it to you. I had the luck that Tina and Werner, back in 2018, they started such a DTM project, so I could again follow them as role models. What is a DTM project? So imagine you take any project from the Toastmasters world, maybe you organize a division contest event, or you take a work project or private project, and you have two teams. You have an action team. You are the leader of an action team that actually does the work. For example, organize an event like a contest. And at the same time, in parallel, you have a so-called guidance committee. So you have Toastmasters friends that help guiding you while you manage a project with your action team. And the guidance committee, you meet with them 5 times throughout the project time, and you reflect together with them about your role as a project leader. It's a beautiful experience offered to us by Toastmasters. So you have this friendly, risk-free environment in our regular sessions, and you have this friendly, risk-free environment when you manage a project. A beautiful thing. There was a voice. Is there maybe a question already that we can?
Well, Andreas, I've got a question. A question. So DTM project could be, because I'm organizing lots of events myself, right? So I'm always organizing something.
Yeah.
So that's easy. I've got an action team. That's okay. But I did not understand the 5 guided Toastmaster friends. So they need to be in Toastmasters. They need to be like my advisory board.
Correct. It's called the guidance committee.
Okay.
Yes.
And it needs to be 5?
Pardon?
It needs to be 5?
Did I say 5? No, it can be, I recommend 2 or 3 people on that guidance committee. Yeah, and ideally all of them are at the same time following a DTM project. So they also have incentive to be there. And to make it super operational, you can say we do this, we schedule these 5 sessions, guidance committee, and we discuss within 60 minutes 3 or 4 of these projects. So every project leader has 15 minutes to speak about his project and also guide the others. So this is the most efficient way to do this. We did that back then. So if you are interested, and I will come back to that, the importance of a mentor, if you want to do a DTM project, speak to somebody that did it already. They can give you valuable information about these shortcuts and potential ideas to ease your life while you do it. But as I said, it was a beautiful experience for me, and it was an opportunity to learn what else Toastmasters has to offer next to high quality sessions where we train our communication skills. Super. Then a few other things I mentioned already. I served both as an area director and a division director. This is the district leadership part, also an element that you need to complete when you want to be a DTM. I strongly recommend doing this because it's a beautiful experience, especially when you are the division director, where some of us, when you are not a leader or a senior leader in the corporate world, in the role of division director, maybe for the first time in your life, you are offered the opportunity for indirect leadership. So imagine You have an initiative, you tell your area directors, and then your area directors lead the president of your club. So it's like a two-layer hierarchy, and you can, again, in a risk-free, friendly environment, test your skill in being an indirect leader. Yes, and there are some other elements like helping other Toastmasters clubs to start, for example, in the role as club sponsor or club mentor. So if you want to be a DTM, speak about it with ideally the club growth director of our District 109. Tell them that you are on your way to become a DTM and that you want to volunteer for being a club sponsor and club mentor. And the club growth director, he or she has the overview about current leads, where new Toastmasters clubs are in the making, and then they can ideally call you up and tell you, hey, we need you as a club sponsor or a club mentor. So you have another opportunity to pick some of the things that are needed when you want to become a DTM. Are there more questions until here before we continue with ideas on how to aim higher, how to bring ourselves into a aim higher mindset?
Information share.
I hear a voice, please, a bit louder. I have trouble under hearing you, but I try to make it on my side.
I said Zahra. Can you hear me?
I can hear you still softly, but let's try. Ask your question, please.
Because at the beginning I asked, they said the voice is good. Let me just perhaps increase the volume. Actually, first, thank you so much for presenting the details.
My pleasure, yes.
The question is, shall we have fulfill all 5 criteria that you mentioned? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The question was, do we need to fulfill all the 5 criteria here?
And the second one is district leadership. It was my previous assumption that it can be area director as well, not just district leadership. Would you please clarify this?
Okay, and the second question is for district leadership, can it be, I understand, an area director or division director, right? That's your question. I think I just tried to answer the 2 questions already. So yes, if you want to be a DTM, if you want to reach that, you need to fulfill all the 5 elements, because this completes you as a communicator and as a leader. So the idea is that we do everything. It's a lot of things to complete. However, I can tell you, and please trust me, it's a beautiful experience. You get to know so much and you truly grow your personality. So it makes sense that they have these hurdles, the 5 elements. When it comes to district leadership, and I hope I understood the question correctly, so the most junior role of being a district leader is an area director. The level above is a division director. To reach a DTM award, it's so-called sufficient to serve as an area director for 12 months. Did I answer your 2 questions?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Good. Okay, come back to the DTM, but before we do that, let's look a little bit into the art of aiming high. And for this, I like the slides that I show you here. So usually we are fully focused on our next Pathways project. Malcolm told me doing a Pathways project can be a challenge. I think for today, for this club here, 3 or 4 Pathways prepared speeches were scheduled, and people had to politely say, I can't do it because of work needs tonight. So doing Pathways project is already struggling. We can focus on it, and it makes sense to focus on it. We have people like Robert Schneider from Vienna here, and Robert is really a role model also for myself, because of Robert schedules Pathways prepared speeches as a habit every month. So a true role model for everybody. He has a process of doing this. He really likes that. by the way, in our 100% online Toastmasters Club that runs the meetings, the sessions in German language every second Sunday from 11 to 12. It's called Dachmasters, where Robert and myself met. And then the second level is we can say, okay, we are working on a pathways path. So we do our pathways project, and in the end, we have this arc here. Path is completed, can be a goal. But if you want to aim really high, why not put our eyes already on cathedral, like the cathedral in Cologne, which is our DTM award. So these small steps, pathways project, pathways path, they all add up to the DTM. So I need to encourage you or to inspire you tonight, aim higher, look for this ultimate goal and see how this potentially changes your perspective. Aim high, aim higher, look for the cathedral already while you do these day-to-day things. Let me know if this changes something with you over the next weeks and months. A few tips that I gathered through the years when I aimed high and I aimed for DTM is the following three. I mentioned it already. Look for role models and get a mentor. For example, when in your Toastmasters home club, you don't have people that work in pathways projects on level 4 and 5, potentially visit other clubs as a Toastmasters visitor, where you find role models like this, where you can see how they do it and that they actually do these advanced projects. I can just tell you it's the best thing because you see what they do and you, like me, hopefully, you also have confidence that you can do it yourself. So if you don't have role models that are a few steps ahead of you, look for them. And if you also don't have a mentor yet, definitely ask for a mentor. It can be within your club or it can be without your club. By the way, who of you has heard of the so-called Odyssey project, where they met you with Toastmasters mentors worldwide? Raise your hand who has heard of the Odyssey project. Robert, super. Okay, then let me also share the link. You can also Google for Toastmasters Odyssey project. It's like a matching tool for Toastmasters mentees and mentors globally. Beautiful experience and a great initiative from engaged Toastmasters from Finland, I think. Another thing that helps me a lot, having written goals. I'm super passionate about written goals. Currently, I'm acting as the Vice President of Education for 2 Toastmasters clubs, and my main mission is to make sure that every member knows why they are with us, and they have at least 1 or 2 written goals. In the meantime, I also ask them and even remind them that they feed back their written goals. So in my role of VPE, I have a nice portfolio of goals, and I can plan our workshop program and the emphasis on what we do in our sessions according to these written goals. And we learn from experience in our Toastmasters members, when they have written goals, when they follow written goals, when they also share them with a mentor, they accelerate their pathways project activity and with that their personal growth as communicators and as leaders. And last but not least, I mentioned it already, if you, and I hope so, that most of you start aiming high and aiming higher tonight, that you at least consider becoming a DTM, think about it, share your plan early on in the process, tell your Vice President of Education, tell your area director, and tell your club growth director, because when they know that you want to become a DTM, they can help looking for these opportunities. I mentioned it already, the club growth director knows about new Toastmasters clubs where you can serve as a club sponsor or club mentor. The area director potentially can take you on as the successor. So these people are always looking for new district leaders. They can help you with that. And the vice president of education, they can push you a little bit to aim higher and potentially accelerate your progress in the Pathways curriculum. Super. Again, the opportunity for us to exchange. Are there any questions about the idea of aiming high, about the DTM? The floor is open for anything. Looking for the interaction with you. If you want to ask a question, please open your microphone or use the chat. I see there is a question from the chat. Would you please give more examples on the HPL and DTM project from Meltem? Yeah, let's kick off with question. I mentioned already one thing that happens every year is organizing area and division contest events. You can also organize a Toastmasters conference. I remember there was once a Toastmasters conference happening on a cruise ship, and that lady that organized everything for us, this experience on the cruise ship, she also did it as a back then HPL, High Performance Leadership Project, or now DTM project. What I did back then was I tried to improve how we work together as a division team. So I had the idea, and I brought that back from Singapore, that we not only have a division director, but we also have a group of assistant division directors. This was not established before I came into that office. So this was my project, and I can't really remember what the others did. I know my mentee, Remo, when he came for the DTM project, he ran a project where he wanted to make, in Toastmasters, we change the leadership roles every 12 months. This is on one side, it's very good because fresh ideas come into the organization. On the other hand, we lose a lot of experience and know-how. And Remo tried to kind of improve the situation, that handover moment. This was his DTM project. And what was your DTM project back then, Meltem?
Mine was Division H, social media.
Social media.
And Meltem Şahin, Tuana Arıkboğa, and area directors helped me in that year, 3 years ago. Over to you, Andreas.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I see the time is flying. There are 4 minutes left for this part of the session. Anything else you want to share or something that we can answer when looking at the DTM slide here? Let me see your faces. Yeah. Julia, please.
What is a club extension? So I understood the speechcraft, etc., and youth leadership, but act as a club sponsor, what is that?
Yeah, this is always confusing for people. So we have a club sponsor serving for a new club, and we have a club mentor. One is in the club extension dimension, and the other one is in the club support dimension. The simple answer is both the club sponsor and club mentor, they help start a new Toastmasters clubs as support. They share their knowledge. The exact difference I also need to look up. It's all on the Toastmasters.org website. I can't currently tell you what the exact thing is, but if I were you, the insider tip is try to be the club sponsor for one club and then the club mentor for another club. And why is that? The alternative here on club support is being a club coach. Would you know what a club coach is?
Yep, I'm a club coach at the moment.
You're a club coach.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your service. I really appreciate you doing that. A club coach helping a Toastmasters club that is struggling or even struggling a bit to become the distinguished, to regain the distinguished status. And it's challenging. It's a lot of work. And also my impression is that there are not so many opportunities to act as a club coach, because most clubs, they don't reach out to the larger organization and ask for help. So if I were you, I would aim for, as I said, club mentor and club sponsor, because it's just a simpler way of doing it. At the same time, thank you very much for your service. Club coaches are super important, and they can really make a difference. By the way, the same thing is here on club extension. Here, the alternative to club sponsors conduct a speechcraft or a youth leadership program. Both things are amazing experiences. I once contributed to a youth leadership program. So you know that Toastmasters is only for people from the age of 18 years. And for those that are younger, you can organize, but it's just on a one-off basis. It's not a regular ongoing Toastmasters Club experience. It's like a series of events where you help people below the age of 18 to develop their communication and leadership skills. Beautiful thing. Again, a lot of effort. You do everything more or less from scratch. So you see, it's a lot of things to do. Just my experience, insider knowledge to the club sponsor and club mentor. It's a lot of work and enriching, but it's easier than the alternative. Okay. I see the red light, and so let me just finish up. I hope that you liked what you heard. I could be your mentor. I could be your guidance committee member because I like it. If you want to learn more, this is my contact details, Andreas Geiger, my email address. And do not forget, if you are interested in Toastmasters Incorporation, do join us on our exchange group on LinkedIn. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.